Hello all. So I decided why not go through every Blu-ray and DVD on my shelf, because as much as I would love to go through all of these movies individually and give them their own separate video, their own separate review, I don't really see that happening because I'm usually I'm usually making these videos in my very spare time. So I wanted to run through this entire shelf really quick. And some of these movies will have their own separate review, because some of these are movies that I enjoy just way too much to not give their own review. And some of these are just movies that are just either they have a nostalgia vibe to them, or they were movies that I enjoyed at the time that I bought them, and they're just basically part of the collection now, and they don't ever really see the light of day. So before I begin, I want to say that all of these films are alphabetized just to make this easier for me whenever I'm selecting a movie to watch. They are alphabetized based on regular slip cases, or regular Blu-ray cases, slip covers, TV series, box sets, and steelbooks. So let's get into this. Up first we have Alien. Not really a big fan of the Alien films. I understand what makes them popular, but not that big of a fan. They don't capture my interest that much. But still, overall, for what they are, they're good. The Amazing Spider-Man. Not so amazing. Spider-Man's not a red and blue basketball. American Psycho. Christian Bale, Patrick Bateman is fucking mental. And love every second of that. Good movie. The original Amityville Horror. Never gonna own the remake. Never want to own the remake on Blu-ray. This is the movie to watch. Margot Kidder, James Brolin. I almost said Josh. James Brolin, Margot Kidder. Good movie. Anger Management. Jack Nicholson, you made this movie watchable. Adam Sandler, sometimes I love you, but most of the time, I hate you. Are we there yet? As a kid, I thought it was hilarious. As an adult, not so much. Not gonna leave the shelf. The Avengers. As you see, my mood really improved, because The Avengers, very good film series. Love the MCU. Very happy I own this. Awakenings. Robin Williams, Robert De Niro. Whew. The amount of emotion in this film, very hard to watch. I cried like a baby the first time I watched it. I'm not scared. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Very good movie. Never gonna leave the shelf again. Bad Grandpa. I love Jackass, but this was not one of the shining moments. Original '89 Batman. Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, you badasses. I love every minute of this movie. Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. What can I say that hasn't been said? One of the best films, one of the best Batman films in particular. Definitely deserves its own separate review. Big Mama, like father, like son. It was $1 at the dollar store. I had $1 to spare, so I figured, why the hell not? Biodome. Nothing to scream about. Not a lot of people like Pauly Shore. It's here and there with me. It's no Encino Man, but a few genuine laughs sprinkled throughout this movie, so it's passable. Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. Seeing this movie the first time, The Birdcage, I forgot to mention. Seeing this movie for the first time, and as a small child, not knowing what homosexuality was, all I knew was a man dresses like a woman and screams like a woman and is dramatic, and every second of that was hilarious. And as an adult, I'm still of the same opinion. A Bronx Tale. I love this movie. I love mob movies. Definitely worth a watch. Bruce Almighty. Caddyshack. Classic film. Nothing new to say about it other than hilarious, very good watch. The Campaign. The only horror movie that ever scared me as a child. Carrie. I could not go to sleep without seeing a vision of Sissy Spacek covered in blood standing in my doorway when I would go to bed at night as a child. Carrie terrified me. The Condemned. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is, always will be my favorite wrestler, even though I hate wrestling now. I don't ever want to watch wrestling again. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, what a badass. And I still wish one day I can meet this guy to tell him how much he meant to me as a child. Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. R.I.P. Brandon Lee, The Crow. Cult of Chucky. The Dark Knight. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. The Dark Knight Rises. Delta Farce. A Diary of a Wimpy Kid 1 and 2. Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days. They get a dog. The Dictator. The Dilemma. Dumb and Dumber 2. Elf. Will Ferrell's an elf. Evil Dead by Sam Raimi. Evil Dead 2. The Exorcist. I love this movie. The Expendables. Expendables 2. Expendables 3. Hopefully they don't make another one. Fern Gully. Fight Club. Forrest Gump. I love this film. The Fox and the Hound. Well, actually, it's a double feature. The Fox and the Hound and Fox and the Hound 2. Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. Girl, Get Hard. I love Steve Carell, but Get Smart wasn't very smart. Goodfellas. I love this fucking movie. Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon, Robin Williams. Grown Ups 1 and 2. Hopefully they don't do the third one. Grease. The Green Mile. Rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan. The original Hangover. Heat. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. The Heat. Jim Carrey, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Stephen King's It, the 1990 version. Tim Curry is a fucking riot in this movie. Jackie Brown. Jaws. Jimi Hendrix, Live at Woodstock. I feel sick that I own this. The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. The original Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass 2. Kill Bill Volume 1. Kill Bill Volume 2, King Kong, Kurt Cobain, The Montage of Heck, The Mask of Zorro, Antonio Banderas, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Let's Be Cops, Liar Liar, Little Fockers, The Long Kiss Goodnight, The Lost Boys, one of the best 80s films of all time, one of the best vampire movies of all time. And what a song, what a score to go along with this movie. Cry Little Sister. And I met G. Tom Mack, who wrote the original version for the movie. Right there, I got an autograph from him. And quick story on that, he was really cool because not only did I know Cry Little Sister, but I knew his actual music career. Not just Cry Little Sister. I knew the song So Lie, Was It Magic, all these other songs that he had written, all the other albums that he had released. And he was actually so impressed with the fact that someone as young as me actually knew of his entire work and not just the one song. It's over on my display shelf that sits behind me in my movie reviews, but he also gave me a CD of his, and he gave it to me for free. I kept trying to tell him I want to pay for it, but he said, no, I want you to have this for free. And he autographed it to me. So that was awesome. Major Pain. I loved this movie as a kid, and it's still hard to believe that the guy who played the original Michael Myers, of all people, in 1978 is the guy who made this movie. The Mask of Zorro, Mean Streets, Meet the Fockers, yeah, Men of Honor, Robert De Niro, Cuba Gooding Jr. Actually a very good film. Michael Jackson's This Is It. I don't remember why I got this. I love Michael Jackson, but I don't remember exactly why I bought this. Misery. Kathy Bates. You are amazing. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Mr. Popper's Penguins. Mrs. Doubtfire. R.I.P. Robin Williams. Kind of a disturbing story if you really analyze it, but still very funny. As a child, this was another movie that I cried and pissed my pants from laughing. My Cousin Vinny. One of Joe Pesci's best films ever. Along with Goodfellas and Casino, this is one of his best films in my opinion. Natural Born Killers. They killed Iron Man. How about that? The Night Before. Watched it one time. Don't think I'll ever watch it again. Of Mice and Men. One of the hardest movies to sit through because there is a lot of emotion in this movie. This is what I think a good movie is. Gary Sinise and John Malkovich really shine in this movie. And I love Gary Sinise, so this is obviously a movie that I'm going to enjoy. The book was better, but this movie does do a good job of capturing the emotion in the book as well. The Other Guys. Don't think I'll ever watch it again. Wasn't really interested in it the first time I watched it, so don't think I'll watch it. Ugh. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Enjoyed it. Good movie. I had to skip over 2 through 4 because those are in a separate section. And this is the section for just regular Blu-ray cases. But Dead Men Tell No Tales. You really run this series into the ground. Platoon. One of the best war films ever made, in my opinion. One of the best. Polar Express. One of the best Christmas movies ever made. Pulp Fiction. Cult classic, one of the best films ever made, one of the best Tarantino films ever made. References for days. Yeah, it's good. Robert De Niro, Raging Bull. I love this movie. Jake LaMotta had a lot of problems, but what a story. Ratatouille. I saw it as a kid, loved it. I still think it's a good movie. I love Patton Oswalt. Reign Over Me. This is one of the few Adam Sandler movies that I think is a very good movie. Because it's not it's not Adam Sandler trying to see how stupid he could actually be. He's actually very serious in this film, and it's very heartbreaking whenever he goes in depth and talks about what's wrong with him. It is heartbreaking. This is a heartbreaking movie. And Don Cheadle, along for the ride, really, really good movie. Reservoir Dogs. Quentin Tarantino's, mainstream debut, I guess you can call it. One of the best Tarantino films ever made, one of the best movies ever made. Ride Along and Ride Along 2. The original Rocky with Sylvester Stallone. What a movie. Goes the distance. Doesn't win the title, but still, at the end of the day, it's all about he actually went the distance. Rocky 2. This time he goes the distance, and he walks away with the gold. And he got the woman of his dreams. And he ended up having a kid. So he's doing pretty good. Rocky 3. Clubber Lang. That is some scary shit. That guy is scary in the ring, because the way he fights, you almost think he's going to kill Rocky in the middle of that ring. Up next, we have Rocky 4. Apollo Creed dies in the ring. Rocky avenges his death. Corny 80s cheesy film. A lot of 80s montages with a lot of cheesy 80s music. But still, you gotta love it. Rocky 5. Rocky doesn't even get in the ring once in this film. Instead he's training a new fighter who eventually turns on him. And he ends up beating the hell out of him in a street fight. This is not really a Rocky film. There's no actual in-ring fighting with Rocky. It's not a Rocky film. Rocky Balboa, however, was a good Rocky film. Was another good Rocky film. I think 5 out of 6 isn't bad. Good movie. The Runaways. I love the band. I love the music. I don't care for Dakota Fanning. I hate Kristen Stewart. But I love the story, so that's the only reason I own the movie. RV, not one of Robin Williams' shining moments, but still some good jokes here and there. I have to ride a custom bike because my hips aren't aligned. Now the kids know their old man's a freak. That was a funny line. Jack Black, School of Rock. One of the movies I watched as a kid that I thought was the funniest thing in the world. Secondhand Lions. Robert Duvall and Michael Caine. Awesome on camera. Robert Duvall, one crotchety old bastard in this movie, and boy is it funny every second of his crotchetiness. And that's probably not a word. I probably just made a word up on the spot, but that's how good Robert Duvall is. The Shawshank Redemption, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Oh my God. Another good Stephen King story. Book was better, but the movie, masterpiece. The Silence of the Lambs. This is a movie that honestly still, it chills me. It doesn't scare me, it doesn't terrify me, but it still gives me chills because it's still very, very unnerving. Especially Buffalo Bill's fucked up dance. Oh, great! Now that I said that, I'm gonna have that in my mind the rest of this entire review. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Silence of the Lambs. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Not the best film, not the best Sin City film. Wasn't as good as the first. 16 Candles. Cheesy 80s film. Of course, the tomboy girl gets the pretty jock at the end because it's the 80s. That's how things work. You don't believe me? Ask Family Guy. Split. James McAvoy. What an actor. Favorite personality in this movie? Hedwig, obviously. He was the funniest. Another film, Spy. Melissa McCarthy. You just don't have it anymore. You're too full of yourself now. Stand By Me. One of the best films. Based on the Stephen King story. Superbad. Everyone talks about how awesome and great this movie is. I don't really see it. It's funny, but I don't see what's so masterpiece about it. This is one of the quintessential coming-of-age stories of all time. River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman. Every second of this movie is good. Surviving Christmas. James Gandolfini made this movie funny. Sweeney Todd. I don't really care for Johnny Depp singing, but it's still a pretty good movie. It's still a pretty dark movie. It's enjoyable. Why do I have so many Melissa McCarthy movies? Tammy. I love the Outfield song Your Love, but I don't love this movie. The first Ted film. This was actually a good movie. Ted 2, not so much. There was things about it that were okay, but wasn't the best. The Terminal. I love Tom Hanks. Man, do I love Tom Hanks. Now we're getting to the good stuff. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Gunnar Hansen, Jim Sedow, Edwin Neal. And I met the truck driver from this movie, Ed Gwynn. He signed a prop that's also sitting on the back of my display that sits behind me in my review. He signed a wrench for me, and I have a funny story about that, and maybe I'll tell that story whenever I do a little video of my background. But one of the best 70s horror films ever made. Very, very good movie. Never get tired of watching it. Up next, Chainsaw Massacre 2. Same exact opinion for this one. And I did not know that the truck driver from this one was in this film as well, as the bell ringer at the chili cook-off. And funny story, he told me about being in both films. I'll tell that story eventually. The Three Stooges. I think I may have accidentally bought this. I may have been stoned and thought this was a Blu-ray of the original Three Stooges. And when I got home, boy, was I probably disappointed. Because I know holding this, I'm very disappointed. Titanic. This is a movie that you watch with a girlfriend. I'm not in a relationship, so I watch this by myself, but I don't mind it because this is a movie that I really enjoy. I enjoyed it as a child. It made me interested in the whole story, and I still love this movie today. It still has the exact same effect on me as it did when I first saw it as a child. Tropic Thunder. Robert Downey Jr. running around in blackface. Somehow he got away with it and made it funny instead of offensive. I don't know how that's possible, but somehow he did it. Underworld. Kate Beckinsale in a tight outfit. What else could a straight man ask for? The Usual Suspects. I'm not going to take sides on the whole Kevin Spacey thing, but I will say I think he's one of the best actors of all time. I love this movie. Vacation, a poorly done reboot of the National Lampoon Vacation films. I consider it a reboot, and not a very good one. The Walk, the story of Philippe Petit, who walked a tightrope between the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in 1974. War of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know why I own this one. I would have preferred Rise and Dawn, but I ended up with War. What are you gonna do? We're the Millers. Not a very good film, but still has some pretty funny moments here and there. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. At the time of recording this video, still very sad about the news regarding our favorite little blueberry. That is some very sad shit. Leonardo DiCaprio. This should have won him the Oscar. I understand the movie that did win him the Oscar. I understand why it won, but this should have won him an Oscar as well. Titanic should have. Zookeeper. I don't know why I own this. 21 Jump Street. This was good. I think 22 was actually better, but I only have 21 at the moment. The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now I'm going to take another break because my foot's already falling asleep again. But first, very good movie, very hilarious. Watching this movie stoned, not a good idea. You will literally feel like you're going to have a heart attack because you cannot breathe from laughing. I just needed to take a quick little break, but the video will resume in just a few seconds. If you enjoyed this video so far, hopefully you will find me on Twitter at MartyMayhemYT, Instagram at MartyReyes420, and Facebook at Martin Reyes. And now we will go back to the video. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now we're going to venture into slipcover territory. Starting off, we have Army of Darkness, or Evil Dead 3, whatever. Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Deadites, Chainsaw Hand, awesome film. Avengers Age of Ultron. I love this film. I love the Avengers films. I love the MCU. There you go. Whew, another one. Avengers Infinity War. Very good film. I actually like that Thanos won because it makes the next film even more interesting. It makes the stakes higher. Bad Teacher. Batman the Killing Joke. This movie gets a lot of flack, but I think it's pretty good. Yes, it is basically just a moving comic book, a moving recreation of the comic book in its entirety, but the point in the beginning kind of is pointless with the whole origin, the whole Batgirl thing, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. Batman v Superman. Bohemian Rhapsody. This movie is hit or miss with me depending on my mood because sometimes I enjoy this movie. It's a nice little I don't know, I can't think of the word offhand. It's a good movie. And then sometimes it kind of annoys me because it's historically inaccurate, and chronologically inaccurate, and stuff like that just kind of bugs me to an extent. 80s nostalgia. The Breakfast Club. Bridesmaids, one of the last films that Melissa McCarthy was in that was somewhat funny. The Burbs. I love Tom Hanks. Carrie Fisher. Good stuff. Bruce Dern. Love this movie. Corey Feldman even. Captain Marvel. I don't care for Brie Larson. She's very stale, but the movie overall was pretty good. Yeah. This was a waste of money if I've ever wasted money. Carrie, 2013. No. The Conjuring. It's so-so. I don't think it was as great as everyone makes it out to be. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Good stuff. Universal Monsters, never disappoint. Edward Scissorhands. One of Johnny Depp's best films. Get Him to the Greek. Jonah Hill, Russell Brand, raunchy as hell, funny. Get Out. Jordan Peele's directorial debut. And what a high note he went out on, because Jesus Christ, this is an awesome film. Gravity. Sandra Bullock, floating around in her underwear. Yeah, that's good. Grudge Match. Actually, a very good commentary on how old these two fuckers are getting. Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro are getting old as shit. And they still want to get in the ring and box at their age. It's pretty funny. Halloween 2018. I enjoyed the hell out of this, and I'm going to go right on ahead and say it. This is the best Halloween film since Halloween 3. All the rest of them, to me, in my opinion, were garbage. Well, except for Halloween 4, the introduction with Jamie. That one was passable. Michael looked like shit, but Halloween 4 was not a horrible film. Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Good stuff. The Help. Good movie. Tarantino, Inglourious Bastards. Insidious 2. It wasn't that scary. I'm not really a big fan of Insidious or The Conjuring. It, the remake. For what it was okay. Kung Fu Panda. I love Jack Black. Lucy, Scarlett Johansson. What a woman. Maleficent. It's a live-action Disney movie. I wasn't expecting Citizen Kane. The Mortal Instruments. I don't even know where the hell this came from. Boris Karloff, The Mummy. If not for Frankenstein, this would have been his most iconic performance. Neighbors 1 and 2. Good stuff. Pretty funny. Night at the Museum. Don't really care for Ben Stiller that much, but it's still okay. Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's a good movie, but I think it's one of the most overrated movies of all time. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Just no. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Pirates 3. At World's End. It was honestly sad when Davy Jones died. I'll say that. On Stranger Tides. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. John Candy. Steve Martin. Good stuff. Funny as hell. Rampage. I don't even think this is out of the plastic. I don't even remember why I have it. I don't like The Rock. I don't care for his movies that much. Rocky Horror Picture Show. I thought it was stupid whenever they announced that they were going to be rebooting it with the woman, with the character from Orange is the New Black. I thought that was stupid. This is a masterpiece. It doesn't need to be touched again. Sex Tape. Don't really have anything to say about that movie. Spider-Man Homecoming, however, good movie. Far From Home, twice as good. I think it's funny with the Spider-Man films. Well, if you don't count the Andrew Garfield films. Spider-Man 1, the first Spider-Man film in both MCU and the Raimi films. Spider-Man 1 was good. And both times in this case, Spider-Man 2 was better. Sponge Out of Water. I love SpongeBob, that's the only reason I have this. Suicide Squad, fuck you, Jared Leto. Terminator Genesis. Arnie, you're getting old. Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. These two are my heroes. I want to meet them one day. And last of the slipcovers is The Wizard of Oz. One of the greatest films ever made. Okay, so for the collection series, now we have Ace Ventura. We have we have the first two. All four of the original Batman films. The Chucky Collector's Edition box set. Fantastic Four 2-pack. Frankenstein Definitive Collection. Friday the 13th, 8-film collection. The Godfather films. Halloween 10-film box set. Home Alone films. The Iron Man trilogy. The Lion King trilogy. The Man with No Name trilogy. Clint Eastwood's Badass. The Monsters, Inc. films. Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Rush Hour trilogy. Now it's just called the Scream collection because there are 4 instead of it just being a trilogy. I'm fine with that though. Stanley Kubrick films. My favorite film of all time, Clockwork Orange. The Shrek collection. The Raimi trilogy. Shit. The Terminator anthology. Before we got Genesis, and now this god-awful looking new one. The Toy Story trilogy. Eventually I'm gonna have to get part 4. So, no longer a trilogy. The Ultimate Gangster Collection. Featuring Casino, one of my all-time favorite films. The Universal Monsters box set. Jesus Christ, this stack's getting huge. The Vacation Collection. I love Chevy Chase. Good shit. The Vincent Price Collection set number 2. Don't think I'll ever get a hold of set number 1 because I'm not spending $400 on a Blu-ray box set. Not gonna happen. Love Vincent Price though. And this is just, these are just miscellaneous at this point. We have Woodstock, 3 Days of Peace and Music. We have the Chuck Norris films. The E.T. Blu-ray Ultra HD book set. I don't know what it's called. The Taxi Driver book set with postcards. Pretty cool. Halloween 6 Producer's Cut. I hate Halloween 6, but it's part of the Halloween film, so I gotta have it. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The good one. The animated version. Dirty Harry Magnum Force. Clint Eastwood, You Badass. Double Dose of Jim Carrey. The Mask, and the original Dumb and Dumber. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Uncle Buck and Fletch. And now we're going to move into my TV series Blu-rays. We have American Horror Story Coven. Freak Show. Those are the only two that I really thought were worth a damn. Bates Motel. One of the three favorite shows of all time that I love. Breaking Bad. The Sopranos, my all-time favorite. My #1 favorite. And last but not least, That 70s Show. Love the trippy little poster design they gave for the cover. And now we are venturing into Steelbook territory. We have Anchorman. Das Boot. I don't really care for German films, or foreign films, but this was a very interesting and very good movie. Django Unchained. God damn it, Tarantino, I love you. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. One of the best films made in my opinion. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Benicio del Toro and Johnny Depp. Good stuff. They're always high on whatever the hell they get their hands on. MCU's Incredible Hulk. I thought it was okay. I prefer the Mark Ruffalo version, but that's good. Men in Black 3. The Predator trilogy set. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Al Pacino, Scarface. The original Sin City. Good stuff. The only Star Wars movie I thought was worth a damn. Episode 4, the first film. And last but not least, for the Blu-rays, Stripes. This is my entire movie collection at the moment. And I realize this video is going to be a long one. So if you stuck around for the entire video, commendable. And this has been Marty Mayhem showing off my movie collection. And if you like what you see, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated for my next upload.